Today, we're unpacking a dramatic development that sounds almost cinematic but is very real. Explosions in Moscow, triggering panic as Ukraine reportedly carried out attacks in the heart of Russia. We'll walk through the known facts, examine possible motives, discuss implications, and try to separate myth from reality. It all began with sudden blasts echoing across Moscow late into the night. Multiple sources, local Russian media, social platforms, and Ukrainian outlets reported loud detonations in the city, followed by emergency sirens and blurred images of smoke rising over key districts. Some described tremors, windows rattling, explosions so intense that residents felt the shockwave in adjacent neighborhoods. In many cases, people rushed into streets, alarms went off in homes, and social media filled with panicked posts. Is Moscow under attack? Or where did these explosions come from? Initial reports mentioned strikes near military installations or infrastructure targets, though precise locations were unclear amid confusion and official silence or tight control on information. The Russian government was quick to respond with denial, partial explanations, or diverting language. Some said they were gas explosions, sabotage, or accidental blasts in warehouses. Meanwhile, Ukrainian defense officials remained coy. They neither fully confirmed nor denied involvement, instead pointing to their right to attack military targets wherever they are located. One reason this struck such a nerve is psychological. Moscow is not a frontline city. Strikes inside the Russian capital pierce the illusion of safety for officials, military planners, and civilians alike. It's hitting the nerve center, shaking confidence. It sends the message, nowhere is entirely out of reach. It's audacity layered on capability. If these explosions were indeed coordinated attacks by Ukraine, what would motivate such a move? First, it could be retaliation or escalation, signaling that Ukraine can strike back into Russia, not just defend territory. Second, it's deterrence. By targeting strategic nodes, maybe logistics hubs, military depots, air defense installations, Ukraine might weaken Russia's backbone of sustainment. Third, the symbolic value is enormous. By hitting Moscow, Ukraine asserts agency, forcing Russia to divert resources to protect its capital instead of focusing entirely on offensive operations in Ukrainian territory. Of course, there are risks. Striking within Moscow carries immense political and propaganda risk for Ukraine. Russia will paint attacks on its capital as acts of terrorism or claims of targeting civilians, even if the true targets are military installations. The possibility of escalation into more intense retaliation looms. Moreover, precision is vital. Any civilian casualties or collateral damage would play into Russian narratives of victimhood and garner sympathy internationally. To evaluate what actually happened, we look at open-source intelligence, satellite imagery, eyewitness video, and news reports. In some instances, social media has yielded videos of flashes, fires, and emergency crews responding near significant infrastructure. Analysts are overlaying these visuals on maps to determine target sites, whether they align with military depots, ammo stores, or power plants. If some blasts occurred near rail yards or logistics centers serving the front lines, that bolsters the case for a strategic strike. Cross-referencing timelines is also insightful. Were the explosions synchronized with Ukrainian operations on the front, or with drone raids or missile barrages elsewhere? Did air defenses in Moscow scramble? Was there a blackout or communications disruption? Signals intelligence or military chatter leaked later might hint at Russian countermeasures or internal damage assessment. On the Russian side, official messaging has tried to control panic. Some spokespeople denounced the reports as disinformation or overreactions. Others admitted to incidents or explosions, but avoided naming Ukraine directly. In some cases, they blamed infrastructure failures or domestic sabotage. It's a strategy: limit panic among civilians, maintain image of control, and sow doubt in the attacking side's narrative. Let's analyze potential targets. Moscow houses supply, command, and logistics nodes that feed operations further south and east. Fuel depots, ammunition warehouses, rail links, electrical substations all are high-value assets. Damaging these can ripple through Russia's ability to sustain long-range operations, resupply to contested zones, maintain air defense, or power forward bases. If any strike hit radar installations or anti-air systems, that has tactical significance to weakening the city's defense to follow up raids or diversions. The broader strategic picture is changing too. In past months, Ukraine has increasingly pushed strikes deeper, using drones, rockets, and long-range missiles to bypass front lines and directly hit rear area assets. The Russian military has responded by beefing up homeland defense, deploying layered air defense systems, increasing electronic warfare, and tightening internal security. Moscow, being an essential hub, is likely now a fortress with redoubts, but no fortress is impregnable. Psychologically, these explosions might breed fear among civilians. If residents believe Moscow can be struck, pressure may rise on the Russian government to reallocate forces from front lines toward homeland defense. That dilutes Russia's offensive capability. Moreover, domestic morale can suffer, uncertainty can grow, and some officials or military planners may question the security of the state's core. Internationally, the narrative is powerful. Ukraine can portray itself not just as defensive, but as capable of offensive reach into Russian territory. Such actions may be controversial among Ukraine's allies. They risk being accused of escalatory behavior. Yet diplomats and governments typically distinguish between attacks on military infrastructure versus deliberate civilian harm. Carefully framed messaging could mitigate backlash. Meanwhile, the Russian government will likely amplify its depiction of Ukraine as a terror actor, redouble internal security, possibly retaliate with strikes deeper into Ukrainian infrastructure, and escalate border operations. The stakes increase. Both sides will tread carefully to avoid a spiral into full-blown escalation beyond what both powers and their backers want. In coming days, verification is key. Independent agencies, OSINT groups, satellite imagery firms, war correspondents, and cross-analysis of public and classified data will try to confirm if the strikes were real, where they landed, how much damage, and who ordered them. The narrative is now a battlefield in itself. Truth, perception, and messaging will matter. If confirmed, these explosions could mark a turning point from border defense to deeper strategic reach. If not, they still serve as a reminder of war's fog, propaganda's power, and how even uncertain rumors can alter the psychological landscape. I'll keep following developments closely, watching for satellite snapshots, local news updates, and credible assessments. Thanks for joining me on this breakdown. If you found this helpful or intriguing, hit like and share and drop your thoughts below. Do you think Ukraine would dare strike Moscow directly? What could Russia's next move be? Let me know what you think.